Hey bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another retro review where I review classic works of literature. And today I will be talking about Nightmare Abbey by Thomas Love Peacock. And if you've never heard of this book, then you are not alone. I've only heard about it for the first time when I spotted a name on this list of 100 greatest classics. So let's start by talking about this book. It's actually a novella and it's very short. And it does have a plot line somewhere. It's mostly a concept book, a bit of a satire, with names like Mr. Too Bad and Mr. Listless, How Can It Not Be? And a bit of a gothic novel, and not at all scary or horror-ish. Silly me, thought it would be dark, you know, because it's called Nightmare Abbey, and I still haven't managed to figure out why it's called that way. So the novella centers mostly on a young man called Scynthrop, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, and he just wants to find love. Unfortunately, he's quite unsuccessful. Although for a moment he does find himself yo-yoing between two lovely and very different ladies and he has to choose between them. In addition, the novella was also dedicated to various conversations between different friends. I'm doing this because most of them are rather misanthropic, so friends of Scynthrop's father as they come to visit. Wow, what a tongue twister. Okay, so I don't know if this synopsis, if you can even call it that, makes it sound rather strange, and the book definitely is, but trust me, it somehow works. Again, this novella is less about the plot or characters and more about its concept and parody of some of the literary tropes of the time. I didn't even say which time, didn't I? It was written at the beginning of the 19th century. And the way I personally see it, it's basically a very short and less annoying version of what Jane Austen wrote. It mostly reminded me of Nightmare Abbey. And if you know me, you know that I don't really get along with Jane Austen. I find her books frivolous and not very funny, but this novella, this was funny a lot. I literally laughed out loud at many points while reading it. However, this is obviously not one of those classics that will always work. Sometimes you read a book that was written a long time ago and you can put aside some of the dated tropes and concepts, but in this one, I'm really not sure it would work for a modern day audience. You really need to know what you're getting into. You need to understand the type of humor and the kinds of tropes Peacock was referring to. Also, despite comedy and parodies still being very relevant genres these days, the way that they are done is very different. So despite some bits still being funny even today, I think that for the most part, this book is indeed a victim of its time and of the time and fashion passing, and unless you're very much into early Victorian literature or Gothic novels and parodies of them, you might not like this book. It might confuse you and even bore you. However, I believe that if you've heard all I just said, and despite not really knowing many things about 19th century literature, you still want to give it a chance, I would be the last person to stop you. But I think I realize why this book isn't as famous anymore as much as the other books on that list like Wuthering Heights or Catch-22. And those were my thoughts on Nightmare Abbey. Definitely not what I expected it to be, but honestly I finished it in a few hours, so who cares? And I did enjoy it. It was very amusing, but unfortunately it will not work for everyone. But I do wonder if you've read this novella or even heard of it, and if not, would you consider reading something like that? Let me know in the comment section because I need those comments. I don't want YouTube to forget about me. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, the usual. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!